coming in, those that have been here. And we just want to welcome you to the Diamond Factory. For those of you that may be brand new and not aware exactly what this call is all about, this is the Diamond Factory. This is where diamonds are made. This is where we receive the kind of information that we need on a daily basis to improve us, to inspire us, and to inform us. And today is just that day. If you don't know by now, get your pen, get your paper, because you must get ready for the information that you're about to receive. Because, and as many of you know, we have these new wellness packages, and we kind of call them good, better, and best. But I'm going to tell you something this morning, you're not going to hear good, you're not going to hear better, but you're going to hear the best VP of training and development that any company could ever have, coming from our coach, Dan Johnson. Coach Dan, are you out there?
I certainly am, Coach. Listen, let me tell you something. With the introductions that you give, I'm going to have to start calling Grant Cardone and some of these other guys to fill in for me, because I don't know if I can live up to these to these introductions that you provide. But I'm gonna do the best. I'm gonna shoot my shot, and if I miss, as I tell my son all the time, keep on shooting, because one of them gonna fall. So we're gonna see today if I shoot this shot, if it's gonna fall or not. How about that?
You got it, coach.
All right. Well, listen, good morning, good morning, good morning. I trust and pray that everybody is up, it's ready to go. I trust and pray that everybody is up and ready to go. Hey, listen, Coach got an issue. I'm going to tell y'all, Coach got an issue. If we was in church, I'd tell you to turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, Coach got an issue. But since we're not at church and everybody's at home, I want you to say to yourself, Coach got an issue. And here is the issue. Here's the issue. You guys may not like me today. It's okay. It's a bunch of folks that don't. But my issue is that I believe in my heart that every person that is under the sound of my voice right now has made a mental commitment or made an emotional commitment to becoming successful in their prospective business. I believe that. I believe in my heart that the only reason you're on the call right now is because you want to be successful. That's what I believe. And the truth of the matter is, every person that's under the sound of my voice has to be successful. There's nobody on this line that does not have the potential to reach whatever level they're seeking to reach in their business and in their life. There is an issue, though. And the issue is an issue of the individuals making conscious decisions to do what is necessary on a consistent basis to be successful. As you guys know, all of my sons in some shape or all of my family, all of my kids in some shape, form, or fashion is in some form of competitive sports, or they're in some form of competition all the time. Josiah plays basketball and now football. Kyle competes in Taekwondo. Josiah and my daughter, they're always competing in auditions for acting, commercials, and all of that stuff. There's always a competition. My oldest son is always competing to get to the number one spot as a group sales manager for the Sacramento Kings. So everybody is always competing. My workers, my employees that work for me, they are always, I'm always charging them and challenging them to be excellent. I'm always charging them and challenging them to be better than good. And so with that, there are certain things that they're going to need in order to be successful in any of the things that they are doing. With that, I am going, in order for me to be the best at what I do. There's things that I'm going to need in order to be successful in what I am doing. Those of you that are on this morning, there are things that you must do, things you're going to need in order to be successful in what you're doing. And one of those things is that you must become an expert in your field. You must become an expert in your craft. You must become an expert in what you do. And the only way that you can become an expert in anything is through three things. Number one, teaching. You must be taught the principles of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Number two, training. You must be trained in how to do what it is that you're seeking to accomplish. And number three, activation. You must be activated to actually go out and get it done. And part of the challenge that I have, the issue that Coach has, is an issue of the fact that many of you have not, that's on this line, that have made the commitment to success, have not put yourself in a position to become successful. And therefore, you are not reaching the goals that you set. You're not hitting the levels that you desire to hit. And it's only because, not because you don't have the potential, not because you don't have the right product, not because you don't have the right people around you, but because you have not made a commitment to teaching, training, and activation. So how do I know? I know this. I know you haven't made the commitment because on the moments where we have training, many of you are not on the line. And matter of fact, the ones that are on the line are the ones that are most successful. Let me give you a quick story. I was fortunate enough to close a major account. I may have shared this before with a big box company. It's a 7-figure account. It has the potential to be a 7-figure account. And basically what this account would do is that we're basically installing all of the windows in the Southland area of Chicago. So all of the windows. Now, here's the dilemma. I have a team of union carpenters that's been working for our company for a few years. So we utilize them, and they have been doing flips. We have been doing rehabs. We have been doing burnouts, insurance claims. We've been taking out windows and putting in windows for the past, several years. So that's not hard for us or our team. However, when we begin to work this account, as we work this account, we put in people that we knew were good because they've done it already. And they would go and they would actually install the windows or whatever the case is. And what we found is that the business wasn't becoming profitable because they would take a day and a half, 2 days, 3 days on one project. It seemed like every account they went to, we had to bill the client more money because we was framing out all of reframing the windows because our team was saying that the measurements were off. The windows were the wrong size. It required us to build out more. So we're spending more time, we're spending more energy, we're spending more money, we're costing our clients money. And so finally, we looked at the numbers and said, hey, this is supposed to be a 7-figure account. Me, I am always seeking to become better. So I asked for a meeting. And in the meeting, they said to me that part of the challenge for them is that the average or the best teams out there, not the average, the best teams out there are able to install approximately 10 to 15 windows per day with a 2-man crew. I said, what? Because our guys were installing about 2 to 5 windows a day with a 2.5-man crew. And remember, our guys are union carpenters. So I said, I'm trying to figure out what's the difference. And then when we were saying that the windows were, the measurements were off, they would send somebody else. So we said the measurements are off. We need to redo. You guys got to send these windows back to the manufacturer. You got to recreate the windows and all of that. And so this time, the corporate office sent a team out to measure it, and then they sent another team out to install it, and it was installed in a day. There's a problem. And where was the problem? So what we did was we started retraining our guys. Then I went to look for guys who were experts in Windows. And we hired 2 guys that were experts in Windows. They've done 5 jobs for us. None of those jobs did they complain about the size of the window being off. And they were able to install 13 windows in a day and a half. What was the difference? Everybody on the team were qualified. They were union guys. They know how to install windows. What was the difference? The difference was there was techniques and there was training that the other guys have had that my guys had not had before. And as a result of those techniques and training, they were able to become more efficient in getting the job done. So what we've done now is said, okay, we're going to now pick a Saturday, and we're going to have our guys being trained by our new guys to make certain that everybody's on the same page so that we can scale and become a more profitable company. What Coach is saying to you is this: if better is possible, then good is not enough. If you don't commit to becoming better, and the only way you're going to get better, sometimes you're working harder. My guys was working harder. They was doing more work. It was taking more energy, and they was less productive. And it took them a longer time. Some of you are working harder than others. You're putting in more work. You're putting in more energy. But the thing is, you're not using the right training. You're not using the right techniques. So where you see someone that may not be working as hard as you, they're moving from one level to the next on their way to diamond. You're doing work, but it appears that it's not working. It's not the fact that it's not working. It's the fact that you haven't committed to training and teaching to learn the techniques that your counterparts are using in order for you to be able to experience the kind of success that they are experiencing. I'll give you an example. Last week, for those of you, I give you permission in a second to unmute your phone. Those of you that was on training last week, unmute your phone and talk about and just give a quick feedback of how the training was. I'll tell you when to do it in a second. Here it is. I said to them, if you are taking your person through the first 48 hours of the Sales Academy training in 15 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes, then you have not properly trained them. If you just go through each question and have them to answer the question, then you have not properly trained them. To properly take someone through the 48-hour Sales Academy training, it should be no less than about 90 minutes. If you're properly walking them through to make certain they understand what's going on. If someone that's on the call right now, if you were on the training last Wednesday night, do me a favor, just unmute yourself. I give you permission to unmute yourself, introduce yourself real quick, and give maybe a 60-second give 60 seconds of feedback from that training real quick. Let's do it. And you hit star to unmute yourself. I'm going to assume one or two things. The delay is that there's someone that, and that's part of our challenge. We had 8 people on the call last week on the training. So perhaps neither one of those 8 is on the call this morning. But what I'm seeking for you guys to grasp and you guys to understand is that there's somebody unmuted.
I am here, Dan. This is Kathy.
Go ahead, Kathy.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of what you asked. You were kind of cutting in and
I
out
just
on my phone.
simply asked to give a 60-second feedback on the training on the first 48 hours Sales Academy that we did last Wednesday night.
Well, just to reiterate part of what you were saying, if you're not spending time to talk about each one of the components of the Sales Academy training, find out what the person's why is, what their hot button is, what is it that motivates them. That's a portion that you were saying in training that helps to build that rapport and the trust between you and the new recruit that you have. And so that helps to let them know that you're there for them. In addition to that, how do you know what to hold them accountable for if you don't know the ins and outs of why they're doing the business?
So let me ask you this, Ms. Kathy. Would you say,
Yeah.
now you've been around the Sales Academy training, since we started, and for you, the answer may not be yes, because you've been around this for a while. But would you say there was something that was said, spoken in that training last week that was new for you that you could take away and add to what you're currently doing?
Well, just because we've been around for a while, Dan, doesn't mean that we don't need to reset. So I would say all of the training helped me. And I've been experienced. I've been in the network marketing industry for 15 years. And every single training always sparks something. Either it says to me or has me say to myself, get it together and do more, or it says to me, do better with your team. Make sure that they're doing the right thing. So just because I've been around since the beginning of Wakana and been around Sales Academy training does not mean that answer is not yes. So the thing that spoke to me on Wednesday was to just be more consistent and to make sure that people on my team are doing the things that I am when we're talking about a new person. I even offer to assist with Sales Academy training when somebody brings somebody on the team. Like, how can I help? You want to do a 3-way Sales Academy training? Do you want to, that kind of thing. So, just because we've been around for a minute does not mean that we don't need to reset every now and then, if not all the time.
Absolutely. And thank you. Thank you. And so I did that because I need you guys to understand. Kathy is building a wonderful business. She's building a consistent business, a stabilized business, and she's making money from the business. But Kathy is there all the time. She's present. And I'm saying to you guys, you will not be able to become an expert in anything that you seek to do in life if you don't commit to the teaching, if you don't commit to the training, and if you don't begin to activate what you're taught, what you're trained on in the marketplace. You will not be able to become an expert, which means you won't be part of the elite. I have a word that I say to all the Hispanic people that work for me: excelente, excelente, excelente. And what I'm saying is excellence, excellence, excellence. There's a demand on excellence. Do not compromise the integrity of excellence. And you cannot be excellent in anything that you have not committed yourself to be trained and developed on. So listen, here it is. The takeaway is this. I'm challenging you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with Coach Dan. Like I said, I'm not the greatest out here. But commit yourself to training. Commit yourself to development. And the stuff that I train on is the stuff that I've done. I've shown people. We've gone to expos and people walk around the booths, and I close 2 or 3 people on what do you call those, on a full crown jewel dispensary on the spot. Never met the person. And all I'm doing is utilizing principles and tools that I've been trained on, I've been developed on, or that I've practiced, that I've seen to work. And then I seek to give that to you. There's no substitution for the lack of execution. If you don't execute, what you're taught and what you're trained on. And if you are not committed to it, then you may not see. You're going to work harder, and you may be successful in that regard. In the beginning, we were happy that we were installing these windows with this crew until we realized that it was a better way. And once we realized it was a better way, we were no longer satisfied. We went after the better way. And my call to you today, Wakanda, is for you to go after the better way. Listen, I'm not done, but I'm going to stop right here. I don't know if I'm supposed to turn it back to the coach, but Coach Ross, but I'll tell you this. I want you to have a supernaturally wonderful Wakanda kind of day. Until next time, as always, prosper and be blessed.